Welcome, critters, to a Let's Play of a short game called Proteus. This is a game where we get to explore a world as it unfolds around us. So it seems we've found ourselves on an island where we can kind of run around and interact with our own persons by relating to other objects in space. So right now we're just gonna head onto the island and start exploring. As you notice, I'm kind of moving around in the space. This is all with the mouse and WASD, and sometimes as we get close up or far away from things such as the island itself, that things they react based on where we are in space. And sometimes this is represented by some kind of change on a screen. Maybe something moves or other things kind of react. Like, look, oh, little frog or bunny or whooper or a little abstract Pokemon that bounces around. It's also accompanied, that the change that happens is accompanied by sounds playing, or sometimes it's the dimming or heightening of one of the many instruments and sounds that are playing in the background. You can hear there's a theremin and a little bit of twinkling keys that happen, especially when the bunny creature was bouncing. And that always reminds me of Katamari Damacy, which is another game with very similar themes of exploring such a kind of a big, vital, and vibrant living world. There's some like rocks, or maybe kind of gravestone shaped. Maybe they represent some kind of marker. So we'll just kind of begin this by wandering through the world, and then as we come across each new big change, I'll attempt to kind of unpack another theme of the game. But for now, we'll just start slow and simple. Oh, little flowery things. Oh, they're gone. Never mind. They got a little scared of me. Scampered off. That's just it's a gorgeous game of very stark colors. And a lot of different colors used very effectively to create a sense of life and vitality. So Proteus is made by Ed Key and David Kaniga, and the name seems to stem from the Greek sea god, who's also named Proteus, who in one breath is possibly the firstborn son of Poseidon, and also in the same breath is also known as the god of elusive sea change. And so in the Odyssey, it notes that Proteus lives on this sandy island called Pharos, which is off the coast of the Nile Delta. So that's where kind of we get this island feeling. It's not a sandy island, but it's a little different than that. What happens here is something a little more magical than what's really represented by this idea of the Odyssey's island. And so in Greek mythology, this is kind of one of the many places where Proteus connects Greek mythology and their relations to Egyptian culture. But most importantly for us playing the game, there's kind of an etymologic stem of Protos in Proteus that might be important to a game as stripped down as this. Go, chickies, go! Run, run, run! I love the little twinkling. Bye, chickies! So you have the stem of Protos, which we can see that as kind of how the mechanics of the game set up as almost primordial or prototypical of this kind of like 3D adventuring genre, which we get in another way with other contemporary games like Dear Esther. However, this one we don't even have the text that uses. This is really a game all about just kind of stopping to smell the roses. It's a gamification of stopping and smelling the roses in a vulgar sense. Just want to stop and watch the sunset, and either the leaves are falling or the trees are crying pink little tears. Because of the abstractness of it all, we can kind of allude a lot of different ideas and meanings, but it all comes under the wrapper of a big idea of dynamics. No matter how you want to relate to the trees, within this space, the trees are, in this case, dynamic. And it makes them feel alive in not just one way, but a lot of different ways, as the trees will interact with us as we play through the game, or even interact around us, which is really when magic happens. Speaking of interacting around us, the day has now turned to night, and which means all the animals are gone, and the trees, they kind of seem to be like shaking off the day. And this is another way where this isn't necessarily something that we have control over, but it is something that we are witness to, and so we have a relation to the trees. And being able to relate to nature like that is kind of a very beautiful thing. We have a little rain cloud that's now not over us anymore, and it kind of passed over. Meanwhile, looks like we've climbed to the top of a hill, and now we get to run down it. So, even despite all of these kind of macro things happening around us, we can also move around in our own little micro ways. In ways that are kind of new and wonderful and fun. Like running down a hill. Oh, here we go. Looks like time is moving much, much faster now, and so this must be kind of a representation of an end of level.